Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and pleasure for me to talk to you about the eIDAS Harmonization and the European cloud strategy and the challenges and opportunities we have. My name is Michael Butz. I'm the chairman of the European Signature Dialog, and I'm also the CEO of eTrust, which is the trust center in Austria, and I'm also the head of the FLZ. This is the trust center in Liechtenstein. So, as you know, as you can see, I'm, let's say, a little bit in these topics. Let's move on. What about the ESD? We are a joint voice of European trust service providers. We have to do, let's say, the eIDAS regulation is a framework, a logistic framework, and the European countries have to follow these frameworks, and it is just to follow them. It is not so easy that even if you change, let's say, one bit, it wouldn't be harmonized. So we work together in the ESD. We are about now 12 European members within this European dialogue to make these things happen. So we need a cross-border verification platform for the harmonized eID. We need a European cloud strategy to empower the European solutions and to make Europe's business ready for the future. Why it is so necessary to have a united voice and to have a strong alliance of the European trust service providers. As you can see, we have a lot of American systems or other systems, and we have to have a European strategy, a European system where the data belongs to the citizen and the data belongs to the user. And we have a very strong and, let's say, also remarkable GDPR in Europe. I think the other countries, or America or the other Asian countries, are fully aware of this, and they are looking to Europe. And I think it's a great thing. But we have to be, let's say, more independent and more self-sovereign. We have to set up a European let's say, infrastructure. So first we have the legislative framework, and then we have to follow up with the infrastructure. So we started with this joint voice of European trust service providers in Vienna. We had the signing act here, and you see there are the members which started this. This was Germany, Portugal, Italy, Finland, Spain, as you can see. And although we are, let's say, even a little bit competitors, but for the framework and for the whole topic, it is necessary that we will harmonize and work together, work jointly together and cooperate, which is very, very important. As you can see, we had the first flagship meeting in Vienna. It was in 2017, and this was in cooperation with European Commission Vice President Andrus Ansip these days, and we had the opening session here. Here you have a brief look at the current status of the existing members, and still we are growing because all of the, let's say, important countries and are members now of these European Signature Dialogue, and we also are very proud and happy that Poland joined us and was a new member and joined also the ESD. So what is necessary in this digital trust movement and empowering Europe? As you all know, and as you all can see, we are in a very strange situation with this COVID thing, and not only digital trust, but the whole digitalization is necessary and important to bring Europe to a a standard and to a position where we are, let's say, working harmonized and joined together in the emancipation of other countries. As you know, America is a big country, but GDPR I think is not so important there. We have to protect the consumer. We have to protect the citizen. We have to guarantee that the data is yours and it is not exploited by marketing or business of other people. And this works in Europe only if we're working joint together, because then we have the right number of users, let's say the critical amount of users, so that we can move on. And on the second step, we have to do the European cloud infrastructure, and this is important. If you have a cloud infrastructure, you must also have the eID before, because you must know who is bringing in the data and whom you can trust. And so we have to follow the European law. So what do we do in let's say, order to connect Europe? There is a cross-border verification platform. So once, if you, let's say, sign a document in one country, or you sign a contract, let's say, in between CEOs of more countries or several countries, you must check whether the signature or is also accepted in the other countries and is also accepted by law in these countries. So we have to have this cross-border verification platform. This helps to make the business, Europe's business, ready for the future and to unlock the full potential of the digital single market. We have to be here more powerful. We have to be more, I think what is the right word? Mutig is the right word. Brave. We have to be more powerful and more brave to unlock the full potential. Why the internal market needs uniform rules as regulated in eIDAS. You have the eIDAS regulation, this framework. This is the structure for an e-trust service. The e-trust services enable e-transactions, and this helps to build a digital single market. And this helps to strengthen the internal market. You have to have this chain, because if you don't know whom you're dealing with or whom you can trust, there will be or could be a lot of rubbish in the internet, and we need something where we can trust on, and the data is stored in the right positions. So we want to create a strong internal market with uniform rules for e-transactions, e-identification, and the provision of the e-trust services. Once you have digital transactions and contactless collaboration placed or in function, that you can work from home, that the companies are able to provide home office. You must also work cross-border, you must have trustworthy rules, and you must have standards. These are essential for the well-functioning internal market. Because once, if you, let's say, sign a contract in one country, you have to accept it in another, and there must be no doubt about this. And so we have to set the whole thing in place, and eIDAS is the right regulation, and eIDAS is the right thing to do. We just have to follow these rules and help Europe to work on this and create a strong internal market. We have qualified trust services. We have the highest evidential value in this, strengthen to legal certainty for companies and as small and medium economy within the European internal market. This means if you have the rules for the, let's say, natural person, it is the same thing that we should follow the rule for a legal person or a company. We have to identify these people, we have to identify these companies, and then once we have to identify this, once we have done this, we can trust this. Let's say in the contact and in the transactions between A and B, there is a C, the trust service provider, who says that the data or the data is from this person or from this legal entity and is not changed and belongs to this. So you can trust in these transactions. The same what we did with the PSD2 for the banks for cashless payments, and we need also to have this for the qualified web authentication certificates, because you have to trust that this site you are entering just right now is not a phishing site, so this is a correct site. So this could also be done via eIDAS with the TSPs. We preserve Europe's autonomy. I think there are standards, as you can see. I don't go in detail, but we have the standards, and the European industry can be dictated by big foreign companies. You all know Google and the other big American companies. We must have a little bit of emancipation here, and this can only be done by rules, GDPR, eIDAS, a logistic framework, and that the data is not provided to the other systems. 3 reasons why to preserve Europeans' autonomy here. We support the European industry. We have a qualified trust service providers. They are playing an essential role in shaping the business, because you must trust from whom is the data coming, to whom it's going. And we have a strong industry here. We have to protect the consumers and the website owners. We have to protect government agencies, big and small companies, and the citizens, that there will be no rubbish, there will be done no rubbish to their data. And I think the European Union should set high standards so that the digital internal market can be achieved and that Europe will be fit for the digital future. And once we have set this in place, we are able to strengthen also our economy, our digital economy, and our digital internal markets, which is very important. So let me come to the conclusion. First, we have to support the eIDAS implementation. Every European country should implement this regulation very urgently just right now, because then if it is implemented, we can work on the harmonization. We have to develop a free European cloud infrastructure based on local infrastructure and European law. So this must be an access for all the citizens and the small companies, that their data could be stored. The data are their data and they are not exploited by other companies. And you can be sure that the data is stored here right, and there is, let's say, no cyber crime to prevent also the cyber crime. And we have to empower European solutions for guaranteed data security and establish a strong European independence. This goes hand in hand, and we just need this. And I just want to ask you, please follow these rules. It is very important. Thank you.